Hi, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with another deck tech. Today's deck, I'm going to start looking, the next few videos you see are going to be some of the legendary creatures that have come out in Double Masters 2022 or MTG 2x2 as they're calling it on the hashtags at the moment. And there's quite a few cards that we've talked about in the past, there's quite a few that we haven't talked about in the past, so I thought what I'm going to start doing is going through some of the legends that have come out in this set. Sometimes they've been reprinted for the first time for a while, sometimes they've been around for a little while, sometimes they're staples, but they are cards I haven't played or I haven't talked about or I haven't built decks around. So today's one is one that I will be really honest about. A while back on the stream we did a draft. Please go and have a look at it up on Twitch, it's up there somewhere. I did a Double Masters draft, and the first game I got absolutely hammered by someone playing around with this theme of this deck. Admittedly, I then went 2-1 and won the next 2 rounds after that. That's beside the point. But yeah, we got hammered by people bouncing their creatures in and out, exiling them, and so on and so forth. When I was going through the spoiler list for Double Masters, I saw that there was a commander that did this. So, without further ado, here we go. Roon of the Hidden Realm. 2 green, white and blue for a 4/4 legendary Rhino soldier who has vigilance and trample. So that's pretty good stats. I'm not unhappy about that. But then we have a nice little ability. 2 colourless, and tap it, exile another target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, can you see where we're going with this? Flickering creatures is something I have never done. I've never done this in real life. I have never done this anywhere, even in the draft formats when there was a good flicker deck kicking around. And I got quite inspired by this. I think the nearest I've got to it is one of the creatures in the deck that I'll go through in a minute. And I was just really excited to try this out. Now, I know Roon's been around for a little while. This, if you've been playing Magic for a while, this may be a deck you're aware of. I may have missed things out. I may have added things you haven't seen. But, you know, as usual, come down below, leave me some comments and see how it goes. But let's go through the deck now. Start off with the land. Nothing really a big surprise here. I am playing all 3 castles. I like the idea of paying 4 mana for this one and getting 6 green mana to spend to cast creatures. We do have some big creatures, as you can see on the screen, which I'll go through in a minute, so it's quite useful. Command towers in here, the usual fabled passage field of the dead combo. Well, it's not a combo, but you know what I'm talking about. Whole load of dual lands, and then 4 of each of the basic lands, just in case, along with all 3 temples, Temple Garden, Sunpetal Grove, Spara's headquarters, a couple of the bounce lands, in Simic Growth Chamber, Celestial Sanctuary, so on and so forth. Nothing really that surprising. I've kept it fairly balanced. The whole deck's fairly balanced as we go through it. As for the rest of the ramp, Mox Tantalite, you've heard me talk about it enough now, but yeah, I play a lot on MTGO. This is cheap in MTGO. Real life may be more expensive, but yeah, it's cheaper than some of the other cards I sometimes play on MTGO in real life. Soul Talisman, Elixir of Immortality, so in case things go pear-shaped we start shuffling it back in. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and for this deck I also included Selesnya Signet and Simic Signet along with Solemn Simulacrum. Pretty sure you can work out why Solemn's in here. So, the idea of the deck is to get some creatures into play and then blink them out and eventually build up so we can get the stuff that's over here at the top end of the scale. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We're going to have Path to Exile as a little bit of control. Nephalid Smuggler is one of the cards that beat me up in the draft, so I went and got one. One for a 1/1, 1 blue for a human rogue, as you can see. Exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Yeah, okay. It's a bit expensive for 4 mana, but when we get there, later in the game, it could be good. Arbor Elf, Mystic Elf, Fire Nord Elves, Llanowar Elves to help us ramp. Elixir of Immortality hasn't been talked about. Then obviously the card that started all this off, really. I think Momentary Blink was the first thing that exiled a creature and then returned to the battlefield instantly. And then with the flashback of 3 and a blue as well, you can do it twice. Hopefully you'll do it once, get it back in your library and draw it again. Then we're looking at some of the stuff. This is where it gets a little bit muddled because we've got blink cards that happen. We're going to call them blink cards because, you know, respond to momentary blink, but there's some targets. So some of the target cards are coming up now. Wall of Omens, 0/4 wall, draw a card when it comes to play, blink it out, blink it, and it comes back in, draw another card, so that's quite good. Omen Speaker, same idea, but it just scries 2, so that's quite nice. Watcher of Tomorrow is interesting. This came originally from, I believe, Modern Horizons, yeah. Comes into play, Hideaway, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 under it, and it enters the battlefield tap. That's fine, I've got no issue with that. But when Watcher of Tomorrow leaves the battlefield, put the exiled card into its owner's hand. So, this goes away because you blink it, you get to get the card, and then it comes back again and repeats. And that's the same with Watcher for a lot of the blink effects we're going to be talking about. So it's actually really quite good in this deck. Elvish Visionary, you know it, you've seen it before. Blink it, you draw an extra card, comes into play, it draws a card. Rampant Growth's here just for a little bit of ramping, just to smooth our mana out. Meadow Witch is one of the other cards that beat me up quite badly in the draft. This one's slightly better than the Smuggler because you don't have to tap it. So when you get to a point where you've got 4 mana, 8 mana, 12 mana sitting around doing nothing, you can start exiling creatures left, right and centre. The difference between this and Smuggler is it will also exile itself. So if someone targets it, because this says another, this doesn't. If someone tries to target remove and you've got 4 mana floating around, save it. And it comes back. Okay, if they do it in their turn, it misses your entire turn, but you've still got your creature in place, so things are good. Likewise, Turn to Mist is a very similar card. It's a one-shot basic Meadow Witch, which only costs 2 mana, so we'll go with that. Teferi's Protection, I have to say, has dropped dramatically in price. If you can pick one up on MTGO, it's worth getting one. I know the real-life card value hasn't changed that much, but on MTGO, this is like under a ticket now, so it's worth getting one. And it's also a way of protecting everything we have in play, which is why it's in here. Flicker Wisp, same idea, it's 3/1 flyer. And we're going to bounce things in and bounce things out again. So, you know, that becomes a target for our Meadow Witch. Elvish Rejuvenator goes and helps the sword land out, but it's quite a good target to ramp up if we need to. I've dropped in Fight Rigging. Yeah, it's a hideaway land. You can't blink this out and get the card, so you know, but it does help us build some of our sort of like smaller creatures we've just been showing off into things that may be a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And if we control a creature with power 7 or more, we get to play the card without paying its mana cost, which could be quite helpful in the long run. Growing Rights is in here just so I can dig down a little bit and find something useful. If we can flip it and get a kind of mini cradle out of it, I'll be happy with that. Reclamation Sage, nice blink target. Blow apart enchantments and artifacts that are annoying you. Search for Tomorrow is just there for the spend cost to just get the mana ramp on. Same with Wood Elves, another creature you can go and find some lands with. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, could be one of our win conditions. It's going to be a bit of a pain because we have to exile stuff from our graveyard, I'm aware of that. But at the end of the day, putting the extra land into play, drawing the card, gaining the 3 life for 3 mana is fine. And if we never get to cast out of the graveyard, so be it. But it's worth having in here. Release to Memory is an interesting one. I didn't know this had become available on MTGO, so I'm quite glad it is here. I'm just turning the mic down, sorry if it's been a bit loud. But we can exile target opponent's graveyard for each creature card exiled this way, create a 1/1 colourless spirit creature token. It gives us some bodies. It means that anyone who's playing graveyard shenanigans is quite nicely taken care of, and it's only 4 mana, so yeah, even if you get 3 spirits out of it, it's okay, I think. Restoration Angel is my only real experience of blinking things. There aren't any other angels in the deck, just so we're clear, so this is always going to have a target if we've got another creature in play that does something when it enters the battlefield. And going from there, it is very good. I'm quite happy with it, so you know, we'll see what happens in this deck. Amelia the Blessed was also another card that came up from Double Masters. It was one of the ones I was going to do a deck tech around, and I realised it fitted really well into this deck as well. So I'm probably not going to do a deck tech on this one, but it's here, it's in Roon. And whenever another creature enters your battlefield under your control, you may pay green or white, and put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it's a unicorn, put 2 +1/+1s on it. Could we do a unicorn tribal deck? Yeah, we could. We can play with shapeshifters and so on and so forth, but not sure yet. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. But at the moment, it's just an extra way of pumping our creatures in and out a little bit. I decided to have some fun. Instead of playing something like Day of Judgment, I put Settle the Wreckage in. Yes, it does help our opponent out a little bit, but yeah, we're kind of exiling things. I thought this was a bit more fun. Obviously, if you want to change it to Wrath of God, Day of Judgment, so on and so forth. But I'm playing Settle just for that. Rampage Rejuvenators in here. I quite like the idea of this. If we can get it in play, and then maybe blink it a little bit with Amelia, or one of the other blink cards, it gets more lands out when it dies. We are playing 4 forests, 4 islands, 4 plains in the deck, so getting the basic lands out isn't the end of the world. OG's in here. I think we'll be casting a couple of spells each turn with a bit of luck towards the end of it, and when we do that, we get to exile a creature we control, then return it to the battlefield. So it's another blinky type legend, which came from Baldur's Gate. So you know, give it a try out. Falco's in here. Yeah, I'm not sure about Falco. I put it in because it was in the right colours. And at the time, it seemed like a good idea to do this in the right colours. So, I've moved my mouse again. But we'll see. You know, we do have some counters coming in. We do have the ability to put counters on things. So, yeah, you may cast a top spell by removing a counter from a creature you control. We might get some extra value out of it. But I figured a 3/3 for 4 with a bit of shield, sort of like protection type stuff, might be a bit of fun in this deck. Solemn Sim is one of the perfect targets for this. Mid-league goes and gets basic land, so it is fighting a bit with a Rampage Rejuvenator. But if we can blink it a couple of times and ramp up, I'll be happy. And then obviously when it dies, we get a card, so you can't complain. Likewise, Rabble Rousing, another hideaway enchantment. Hopefully we'll be attacking with creatures and get some 1/1 tokens. So, and when we've got 10 or more creatures in play, we get to flip it and get the card, play it for nothing. So that's quite interesting. Cartha's Crusades here. We've got a lot of creatures coming in and out. We get some +1/+1 counters on them. It works quite well with Falco, as you know. I think I've talked about it before, so that's why that's here. Likewise, Elspeth Conquers Death here, because I'm trying to keep on theme with exile, really, and it's exiles as well. And obviously, if we play it later in the game, if we can get it up, we can survive a couple of turns and get it to trigger the 3rd time. Getting one of the creatures back that's been killed could be a benefit to us. Hix's Prison Warden is one I'm trying out. I'm not sure about this card at the moment, because we do have to take the combat damage. But if we're being attacked by lots of little things, you know, lots of little tokens, it could be a case of we'll take the damage, go down a few life and play this and get rid of the lot of them. We can blink it in and out. We can do funky things with it, so we'll see what happens. Cavalier of Dawn here is just to blow up anything that's annoying us. Yes, our opponents get a 3/3 golem out of it, but, you know, whatever. Oh, sorry. Yawn there in the background. Body doubles here just so I can copy anything in the graveyard. Someone might have a big thing that we want to get that's been blown up, and we want our own copy of it, so we might as well have body double in here. And it's a good blink target. If you blink it in and out, you get to copy anything that comes along that's in the graveyard. So, Mole Drifter's Mole Drifter. 9 times out of 10, we'll probably be using the evoke cost on this to draw the extra cards, but occasionally, if we can get it to play, let's do it and blink it in and out. Same with Cavalier of the Gales. It's another 5/5 flyer. Yes, it's a little bit expensive, a bit like Cavalier of Dawn is, but it's got to be worth a try. For a 5/5 flyer for 5 is fine. And when it dies, we get to scry. When it comes into play, we draw 3, put a couple on top of our library. Sounded good to me. And obviously, Gear Hulk's here, blinking in and out this with the +1/+1 counters can really build up your board quite quickly. I put Oath of Teferi in to start with because it exiled one of our creatures and brought it back again, or any permanent we had, so I thought it was a good plan. So then I decided we might as well have Teferi himself in along with Venser Sojourner, because Venser does the same thing and blinks stuff in and out for us, and Teferi's here for basically if we can do the untapping and the land side of it. At some stage hopefully we'll get this up to do the -8, so whenever we draw a card we exile something opponent controls, but we'll see. Likewise, this has got an exile ability as well on Venser. Whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent. So it'd be quite nice. So that's kind of the rampy bits. The win conditions tend to be up the back here. So Sun Titan brings back stuff from the graveyard. It's also fairly difficult to deal with. Whisper Angel is the only other angel in the deck. I forgot this was an angel when I was talking a minute ago, so sorry all. But it does blink something in and blink it back out again. So you could do Wisp, if someone's targeting one of your creatures down here, you can play this, blink it out again. So we'll see what happens. Frost Titans here, just because it's a little bit difficult to deal with. Got a bit like a ward thing on it, but it's not ward. Primeval Bounties here. I figured if we cast some creature spells and non-creature spells, we can get some counters, gain some life. It'd be quite useful. Prime Speaker's nice. Let's just blink this in and out and just draw lots and lots of cards, which kind of helps. We have got down here somewhere. Well, we will have in a minute when I go and put it in, because I haven't put it in. You do need to put the land in, whose name completely escapes me at the moment, but you know the one I'm talking about. Maximize your hand side. See if I can find it in the background. Reliquary Tower, that's the phrase I'm looking for. There you go, we'll drop it in. What we'll do is we'll drop out one of the less useful lands. Which one that will be is beyond me. I think we'll just drop a basic plains out, so we'll drop down to 11 basic lands, which is fine. But you want to have the cards. Arameth I'm trying out. It says whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a creature card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it in your hand. We're going to be blinking a lot of creatures in and out. We may be blinking other permanents in and out as well. So this could draw us a few cards over the game, which is why it's worthwhile having the Reliquary Tower in this. You just see me adapt the deck. Agent of Treachery is the ultimate blink target. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. This is one of the biggest targets we have going. And don't forget, it takes any permanent. So it can take a land, it can take artifacts, it can take enchantments. Anything that's annoying you on someone else's side of the battlefield, you can nick and put on your side of the battlefield. Bear it in mind. Beanstalk Giants just in here is a bit of ramp, and then a 7/7. Again, I was fiddling around with the exile thing. This may not be needed, but we're in here. Avenger of Zendikar is one of those cards that people talk about a lot. A lot of people don't like seeing it in decks. They think it's a stupid card, la-di-da-di-da. At the end of the day, I'm playing it because blinking this in and out is going to give us a lot of plants, creatures, which might save us a game. And putting some lands into play as well, we get the counters on it, which kind of works. Elder Scale Worm is really a nice little reset button, so we always stay on 7 as long as it's there. It's also a 7/7, and having that in play as kind of a really last minute save me backup plan is where I was going with it, and I wanted to try it out, so this was the deck for that. And finally, Crater Hoof Behemoth. We all know what this does by now, I'm hoping. Comes into play, gives all our creatures you control +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures we control. Yeah, blinking this in and out a couple of times. Don't forget it's got haste, so if you play it and you can blink it, you're going to double up the +X/+X ability, and it's actually really strong when you do that. So, in short and sweet time, that's the deck tech for Roon the Hidden of Realm. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be some more coming out shortly this week. But in the meantime, take care, see you soon, and hopefully, streams down below in the notes. Come and see me on stream where I'll be playing some of these decks. Take care, see you soon. Bye.